Hi Aquarius, my sun sign brothers and sisters. Welcome to your March 2025 AstroTarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. Check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, if you are continued subby, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. Now I will say I am using whole sign tropical Western astrology whenever I'm talking about astrology, okay, and unless I state otherwise. Also, if I ever forget to give you the dates of a transit or the degrees, you will find all of that in the description bar below. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. These will be for your lunations. So the first transit that we're going to explore for you, my dear Aquarian brothers and sisters, is Venus on the 2nd of March is going to go retrograde in your 3rd house. Now, as a part of this transit, she will come back into your 2nd house of Pisces, her sign of exaltation. So you get a nice little juicy, healthy part of that as well. And what I really want to say to you as well is when it comes to your what's the word that I'm looking for? When it comes to, because the 3rd house is communications, learning, your local connections, it's also your siblings, and it's encouraging you to reflect on how you communicate your thoughts and ideas to the world. It's also potentially seeing you revisiting old conversations, rekindling old connections with people from your past. Maybe you're reassessing your approach to learning and or self-expression in some way, shape or form. Now for you, Venus rules your 9th house, but also 9th house of Libra. It also rules your 4th house of Taurus, home, family, property and real estate. And also your emotional outlook. This is an opportunity for you to really think about how you bring your intellectual pursuits and your emotional foundations into connection or a harmonious whole. Be cautious with major decisions regarding local travel or a car or a vehicle. So if you're buying a car at the moment, one thing that you really want to be mindful of, in a Venus retrograde and a Mercury retrograde, you buy second hand. Whether it's a phone, whether it's a computer, whether it's a car, anything that has like a technological slant. When Venus is retrograde, you do not buy brand new, right? Because there's going to be problems with it or issues. You might even end up having a recall. If you're going to buy a new car, a new phone, a new laptop, or whatever the case might be, buy second hand. Not only are you helping the environment and saving the planet and, you know, all that stuff, but you're also likely to get a really good deal. Now, additionally, watch out for matters involving because the 3rd house is like your communications, and so, you know, comments, right? What you're saying, what could be like to you just a passing comment, especially like in the online sphere or maybe in like a family function or a get together, somebody else could take it really seriously. All right, so instead focus on refining your skills and nurturing meaningful relationships within your immediate environment, because the 3rd house is like your neighbors, it's your siblings, it's cousins, it's your local shop that is round the corner where you buy your bread and your milk, it's the websites that you use every single day. All of that stuff is third house stuff. For this, you've got the 2 of Cups. Partnerships are going to be important, especially because it's Venus, right? Venus literally represents partnerships. You've got this with the 9 of Pentacles, like that. And you've got this with the High Priestess. This could be a partnership where you maybe partner up, you buddy up with somebody, but you do this very quietly. You're doing it sort of very much behind closed doors. You're working on a project. You're creating something from the ground up. And it could be that you're learning something at this moment in time where you're kind of Do you know what I mean? Like you're learning, you're taking on new information, you're learning new skills, and you're doing this with another person. And whatever it is that you are doing, it's really taking shape or taking form in like stellar sort of fashion. So love that for you. For the next transit on the 12th of the month, Saturn is going to go Cazimi, right? Saturn's going to come into a conjunction with the Sun. Now, this is a pretty big deal for you because you are Venus, right? Certainly you are Saturn, certainly in ancient astrology, right? This is happening in your second house of money, finances, and resources. The Sun aligns with Saturn in your second house of income, money, resources, self-worth, personal values. And it's emphasizing the importance of financial discipline and long-term planning. This could be a time where you start to get really serious about how you're using your money, what you're doing with your resources, where it's going. And because Saturn for you rules your 12th house of your past and your unhealthy habits, patterns, addictions, obsessions, self-sabotaging tendencies. And it also rules you and your first house of your physical health and your body and how you navigate the world. This could be a time where you start to not only value yourself that much more, but you start to really understand how your partnerships and your connections are really feeding into, generating or creating your habits and your patterns around money. So the reason I say that is because the Sun for you in your chart rules Leo, which is the 7th house, which is partnerships and relationships. So this could be a partnership that has a very lucrative slant to it. It might be a time where you start to really solidify your own personal wealth, or maybe you start to build a financial plan for the future, with the understanding that it's going to take time to manifest your vision, right? Saturn never gives anything overnight. Remember that. It takes its time. It's been in your second house now for about a year and a half-ish, maybe a little bit longer actually. And what it's really trying to show you is financial discipline, and also how to consolidate your worth, your wealth. It's also the ruler of you, so it gives you a chance to really understand how to monetize your own value by recognizing what makes you unique. Now, in a trine to Mars in your 6th house of your health routines, your day-to-day values, it could really help you find a greater emotional and financial security and stability. And it could also shore up your emotions so that you say, okay, this is going to take a long time to build. This financial sort of endeavor is going to pay out, but it will pay out over time. And what you set into motion at this time with this Cazimi, it will be a time where you invest in your talents and you really feel like your worth, both financially and personally, is being solidified in some way. Now, on the... no, we're not done yet. The cards for that, please, Raf. For this, you've got the 10 of Swords. So this could be the end of bad habits when it comes to your money. It could also be the release of a contract of some sort, or the shifting of a contract or a commitment. And you've got this with the 2 of Swords, right? So this is a highlight around a contractual matter, or not issue, but it will see you looking at the finances probably on a very official level, right? So this means that there probably will be things like paperwork, documents, contracts that come up at the minute. Could be very lucrative for you, but you're having to really read the fine print. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a solicitor involved in this in some way. So on the 18th of the month, the North Node is going to come into a conjunction with the Sun in your 2nd house of money, finances and resources. So this house is really getting a good go over this month. Now, what's important to note here, this is the first time in 18 years that you've had this transit. You'll have one more of them in 2026, and then that will be your lot for another 18 years. So this is a pretty big moment. Whatever that Saturn Cazimi energy was having you sort of set into motion, or, you know, plan, or, you know, sort of finalize for the long term, this bodes very well for it, because it means that you know, it's like whatever you set into motion, the universe says, yeah, no problem, I can take that and I can work with it. This is a fated moment in your financial or material life. You might encounter an opportunity that feels like really destined to help you build wealth or to increase your sense of self-worth. Truthfully speaking, I think it's going to do both. It's a time for you to embrace your natural talents and to use them to create something of lasting value. You're going to feel this really powerful dynamic push, or pull, should I say, towards creating that financial freedom and or stability for yourself. Now, this transit could bring a lesson about who, you know, what you truly value. Are you investing your energy and resources into things that really are about your higher purpose, or living the life that you envision? Be open to guidance from unexpected sources at this time, especially because it might lead to a breakthrough financially, or in some of your personal goals. Stay flexible and be really honest about what's important to you right now, whether it's money, stability, personal growth. It's okay, right? If your focus is currently on financial gain, what matters is aligning to your true priorities around that. So keeping yourself honest, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So for this, you've got the visionary. Beautiful, right? Because this sees you having insight or information that is beyond its time or years. Imagine that, an Aquarius, right? You've got the Seven of Wands. You have to fight for this vision, though. It's not just going to be that it falls into your lap. You will have to fight for it. You'll have to work for it. And you've got the Three of Pentacles, which means that there will be a collaborative slant to this. In some way, shape or form, you won't be doing this on your own. And it makes sense. Why? Because the sun for you rules Leo, the 7th house. The 7th house is relationships and partnerships. There's a collaborative energy behind this. You've got to fight for the collaborations and the connections that you want. But more importantly, you've got to fight to really remove the ones that actually aren't going to be, you know, helping you achieve that in some way. On the 20th of the month, the sun is going to come into a conjunction with Neptune. So we've got the final Neptune Cazimi in its transit through Pisces. By the time, so Neptune's going to move into Aries, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But then it's going to move in, it will come back into Pisces, and then in 2026 it will go into Aries full time. However, by the time the sun comes back around, Neptune will already be back in the sign of Aries. So this is the last one, right? Neptune in the second house has not been easy. It could be that you've been able to, because Neptune is an amplification energy as well. It's like a magnifying glass is what I say to people. So it can bring, yes, a dreamy, idealistic, more sort of altruistic nature to your finances, where it sees you being really generous. It can see you bringing in big money. Neptune's not adverse to that. The problem is as fast or as big as it comes in, it kind of just slips through your fingers and you're like, okay, I had all of this money, where did it go? Right? Neptune can absolutely do that. In the second house, it's also really tried to get you to spiritualize what is worthy to you, right? Where and how are you worthy for whatever it is that you want or desire in the world? And where do you bring worth and value to the world? This is the last conjunction in this house, and I'm so chuffed for this, because it means, you know, it's moving out of this space and you're going to be able to see money that much better, that much clearer. It's a time to make meaningful connection to money in a way that allows you to deepen your relationship with finances in an authentic and fulfilling way. However, this is Neptune. Right, so you do need to be aware of that. The fact that it's being reborn at the heart of the sun, though, in that Cazimi, I think this is a moment where something is finally revealed to you around money, and you're like, okay, now I get it. It's really an inside job. Finally, before committing to any investments or purchases, this is a time to really watch out. So the 19th, the 20th and the 21st especially, I would say just watch out for impulse spending or buying or, things like that. And then finally, as if all of that wasn't enough, on the 31st of the month, Neptune will move into... no, we're not done yet. Sorry. You got the 10 of Cups. Oh yeah, there's that illumination. Wow. With the Sun card. Oh my gosh. With the Temperance card. Okay. This really feels for me like, even though it's Neptune, we've already had the Saturn go Cazimi. Now we have Neptune going Cazimi, and we've already had the North Node conjunct the Sun. This is some kind of karmic blessing or reward on a financial level that comes in to really bless you in a very practical, real world, money in your hand / bank account way. What I want you to be really conscious of here is that as it comes in, you want to really wait until a later date before you start dipping into that money, because if you do it now, you'll see it will literally just disappear in your hands, right? This is Neptune we're talking about. Even if you cup your hand really tightly, you can only hold water for so long before it starts tipping over the edge, seeping through the cracks, evaporating, right? Neptune is water. Neptune is the seas. The fact that you've got the 10 of Cups with the Sun card, that is like... It's one of the... first of all, the Sun card is the brightest card in the deck. Second, the 10 of Cups is the lightest and brightest card in the minor arcana. And to have these two together, coupled with Temperance, this combination of these two is saying to you, the blessing is coming, and it will be big, and it will be fated. This will be money, or in a practical or in a tangible way in your hand. With the Temperance card, it's saying moderate yourself. Because that, you as I say, you could end up frittering it away, and then you look back and you think, oh, I had all of that money, or I had that opportunity to make all of that money, and now it's gone. So, love this, right? Like, what a blessing to see. And then finally, Neptune will move on the 31st into the sign of Aries, into your third house. This is going to bring your spiritual connections in your local area to a fore. You might join a group, or maybe like it could be a church, it could be a coven, it could be a spiritual or religious group that you start to engage or interact with, that can really see you feel like you're among your peers. It could harmonize and spiritualize your communications. It could see you writing and speaking in a way that, really resonates with a lot of people. Your words and your wisdom at this time are really going to carry a lot of weight, Aquarius, right? So they can build people up, or they can tear them down. So when you have such power, with just the power, if you've been with me long enough, you've heard me say this as well. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So you want to be careful about how you're using your words. Don't be surprised if your personal abilities, including your intuition, insight, etc., come online before many others do. Neptune into Aries. If you haven't seen my universal 9-year energy called The Reboot of Humanity, I urge you to go and check it out. There's a lot of really important information in there. You might feel drawn to explore new ways of learning, or to engage in creative projects that inspire other people. Neptune's influence can blur the boundaries though, right? And it can make the lines a little bit fuzzy. It can be that, there are misunderstandings with people. It's like you say one thing and they hear something else. Remember, Neptune can distort, or it can amplify. So you just want to make sure that it's amplifying what is actually being said rather than what people want to hear. For this, you've got the 6 of Swords. Things are definitely improving though, with the 2 of Pentacles, okay, and the Queen of Wands. This is a benefactor. This is someone who comes in to absolutely support you in a way that not only really helps you, but also sees you understanding that somebody genuinely has your back. This is very likely to be a sibling or a parent, and I would not be surprised if someone who you would consider very close to you goes through what I would call like a rags to riches story, right? Like, do you know what I mean? Like something just shifts or changes and it's like, damn, wow, you know what? Look at you go, look at you fly, look at you soar. I'm here for it. I'm totally here for all of this. So before we get into your lunations, if you have ever wanted to study tarot with me, if you've ever wanted to take my course, it's 12 weeks. It is it's a 12-week course. You get 12 live classes. You get 2 live Q&As. You get live client demo, live client practice. So, like, obviously you get to watch all of the recordings as well. So that, you know, could be fun. As if that wasn't enough, you get a whole bunch of PDFs. Now, the link is in the description box for you to sign up. We start immediately as we get into the month. Now, if you've also wanted to take my course and you thought, you know, Raf, I love it, but the time zone difference or whatever the case might be, well, Rafi's got you covered. For the first time ever, I'm offering a Teach Yourself Tarot course. It's the same course, it's all of the same information with all of those good tidbits that you get. There's just no live component to it. And so that's there for you. You can go with that. You can study in your own time at your own pace. And that one's 13 weeks because there's some other added bits that I've put in there. So if you want to study with me, if you want to get that, you know, and you can get a certificate as well, you know what to do. Before we, so for your, on the 14th of the month, on the 14th of the month, we have the full moon lunar eclipse in your 8th house. This is other people's money, shared resources, it's intimacy and, you know, sex, the taboo, sex, death, immortality, rebirth, regeneration, transformation is the 8th house. This is also the house of, you know, the occult, your spiritual powers. The eclipse here could bring real clarity eventually to a financial or emotional entanglement. It can also highlight where there have been or are power struggles in your life that need to be released or restructured in some way. Are your partnerships and your investments really heading towards the values that you have for the long term? Because your second hand 8th house axis is now being activated, there's an opportunity for you to balance your personal resources with shared resources and responsibilities. Let go of what's not serving your growth and put your focus on creating deeper connections and also financial stability for yourself. That's the way forward here. For this, you've got the gate 41 and fantasy. The fantasy is going to be lifting, right? Because eventually, once Neptune goes into Aries, all you're going to have left really is the Sun and Saturn, right? And obviously for a little bit you'll have Mercury and Venus. But again, once they move, and obviously the Sun will have moved on by then as well, you'll only have a little bit left of Saturn before that goes into Aries as well. And at that point, you will be seeing money, finances, resources very differently, very clearly. And this gate 41 and fantasy says, don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to really demand more from that 8th house in your chart. The 8th house demands a lot from us in terms of life and what happens to us because, you know, through that 8th house. So in return, demand more from your 8th house as well. On the 29th of the month, we will have the new moon solar eclipse, the last one in this axis for a good long while. And this will be in your 3rd house. A fresh start in your communications, your learning, your local area and travel. This might also see, like, it's maybe highlighting or maybe where you're taking steps towards broadening your perspective on a sort of daily level, or increasing your productivity, and maybe even enhancing your skill set in some way. And for this, you've got the gate 17 and opinion. Watch out for this, right? Because there will be some contrary opinions at the time. I personally feel, even though it's a new moon, which is a dark moon, I feel like this is going to highlight the people that are actually opposed to you and just pretend to be your friend, or, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I think this will be a moment of revelation. With that said, Aquarius, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.